Do I start? Yeah. Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Victor.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Olivia. And this is the podcast where you talk and we listen. And go.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I dreamt I had a soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, will that dream just go on for its own sake?
A pumpkin burp?
Your dog Pumpkin burped now?
I think it was a burp the whole time because it didn't smell farty.
She's so red.
It smelled like a pumpkin latte, a pumpkin spice latte.
Not quite.
Kinda.
Your dog has
By the time it got to me, yes.
seasonal canine flatulence.
So sorry to our listeners if you hear dogs. We have a couple of guests in the room today. Farting up a storm.
Mm-hmm.
Burping and farting.
Burping and farting.
Could be a little glimpse into me and Olivia's personal life where we just talk about the dogs
We do talk about the dogs a lot.
and how cute they are.
Yeah. We say, look at the dog. Look at the dog.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Or, they just farted.
They just farted.
Yeah.
Look at her. She's so cute.
They're going to be so jealous when
she's-
that's all you're saying, but about the baby.
They're going to
Yeah.
be super jealous.
They're already so jealous of each other, you know.
Yeah, they
bring
don't
the
like
baby
when we
in.
pay attention to the other dog.
This is super random, but your guys' anniversary was a few weeks ago.
It was.
Did
Yeah.
you open those index cards from the wedding?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
we definitely did. And yours was funny.
I forgot what I wrote,
We should-
but I know I remember filling it up.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you were so excited for us to read it in a year.
Yeah, I don't.
And it was dream related. So maybe next time we'll grab that and we
That's
can read it on the
right.
pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot what I wrote, but I know I didn't stand there at the table feeling like I took it back to my table and like sat down with a drink and like put effort into it. So
It was a dream about a raccoon, I believe.
how I wrote a dream in it.
Yeah, you shared a dream.
Oh, that's funny. I like what I did there. That's a thing that Shelby makes fun of me for doing a lot. Is like appreciating my own humor too much, like breaking it down.
Someone's got to do it.
That's true.
I'll do a chore that I should have done anyway, and Olivia won't say anything. I'll be like, gee, thanks, Victor. Great job. I'm super proud of you.
He does so many chores. You do so many things. But I do usually praise you.
I like that. I like the constant flow of praise for doing the things we normally do.
Yeah.
I feel like that's healthy. Because I live for external validation. It's the only reason I do anything. So,
Yeah, and it's free. It's free to give.
right.
I think it's important, like, to feel like the things that you do are the acts of service are noticed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It does something for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought the whole love language thing was stupid until I met somebody where it like is noticeably applicable.
How so?
Shelby and I just have the same. We're both words of affirmation people,
Mm,
and it's noticeably
sorry about that.
good. Like, I have a hard time like shutting when I'm like really into somebody. I have a hard time shutting up about it. And I felt like in the past that was kind of annoying to some people. You know. And Shelby really like she never gets sick of hearing it. In fact, she like kind of needs it. So
Yeah.
So it's a helpful system. It actually is like indicative of compatibility on some level.
No, absolutely. I think it's a big part of compatibility because like if you have like different needs in that area, then like you constantly both feel like the other one's not there for you the way that you need them to be like because you have the stuff you care about, but then you also have the stuff that you're not tuned into at all. Like I'm not a gift person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will do it, but like it takes like conscious mental effort to do it. And it also doesn't do a lot for me to like receive gifts. It's just not a thing that my brain like cares that much about. I have to be very self-conscious about it to do it.
Yeah.
So if you're with somebody where like the gift thing is really big for them, you're just not gonna, it's not gonna work out, you know?
Yeah. Shit. You just reminded me I need to get Shelby's birthday's coming up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, luckily that's not super important to her. I still want to get something. So I'm glad you reminded me, but but it's not like paramount.
Yeah.
It's just fun and cute.
Yeah, like we still do. I don't think that's either of our. That's like pretty much at the bottom of both of our lists. But like
We still do
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I don't know.
But I'm more of like I see something I think you'll like and I want to get it for you right then kind of person than like a planning for an event like or a holiday kind of gift giver.
Yeah, I especially hate like obligatory gift giving.
Yeah, that's
like,
the worst.
I hate Christmas for that reason.
That's why I like to.
It's super annoying to have to get a gift for every person.
Yeah, and it's
like-
silly because it all comes out like if everybody gets everybody something, it all adds up to like if everyone had just bought themselves something. You know what I mean? Like it comes out in the wash.
We talked our family into doing a white elephant thing last Christmas, and that was really nice because you just buy one thing that you think is broadly applicable to everybody, and yeah, it was good. It was better.
Yeah, and that's why I like to know everybody's favorite candy because I'm frequently in 7-Elevens, and that little gift of like, hey, there's like proof that I was thinking about you in 7-Eleven, which is proof that I'm randomly thinking about you whenever. It's that says more to me than like I knew Christmas was coming up, so I asked you what you need.
Right.
Yeah. And we were talking about the little tasks thing, but like I'm a big acts of service person. Like I'm really into doing like little things that are helpful. That to me is like important
You're so
to me.
helpful.
Thank you.
There's some words of affirmation.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. But then it also like it means a lot to me to know that you see that I'm doing that, and then also for me to receive those things from you. Like that's high on my list of like how I connect in that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's another one that's like is towards the bottom for both Shelby and I in terms of like necessary to feel loved, but it is like a thing we both appreciate and both do kind of like the gifts, like kind of automatically, but it's not like super important to us feeling loved. It is like the words of affirmation and the physical touch are for more towards the top for us.
Yeah. Because they're all like across the board, they're all good, nice things, right? They're all things that people generally like and see as like good to exchange or whatever. But like some of them will hit you on like an emotional level or like a feeling appreciated level.
Yeah, it's more,
and like others don't.
It's more about what you need to feel seen and loved.
Yeah.
We joke about how like if somebody could be a fly on the wall when we're alone, how like annoyed and nauseated they would be because we're just constantly. But it's nice to not have to have that filter of like of worrying about being annoying or saccharinely sweet and know that the other person's just gonna love it if you just let it rip and
let her rip.
Yeah, just a never-ending stream of
pumpkin
compliments of pumpkin farts. Verbal pumpkin farts.
Yeah, I think
we're the same way.
Yeah, we're the same way. It's like it's nice to like not worry about, I don't know, like because like you said, it's like that can like rub some people the wrong way, or like some people like get the ick from that.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's nice to not like worry about that.
Same thing with the gifts. Like some people love to get a random gift, and other people, myself included, are like, "What is this for? Do I have to get you one now? How much did you spend on this?"
I'm writing thank you notes right now because I have to, I think.
I would never. I just would not.
I don't know. I think that trend should really die. Like, especially if I thanked you already. Like, I understand sending a thank you note or even a thank you text to somebody that I like received a gift from and haven't like acknowledged that I received it from them already. But like, I opened this gift in front of you. I said thank you so much, and then I have to mail you another thank you. That's like, thank you so much for the thing that I thanked you for. I'm so excited to use it. I can't wait to use it in these ways. Best wishes.
Yeah, I don't think I've written a thank you note since I was a kid, when it was like pre-texting, and my extended family all lived on the other side of the country. So I would receive gifts in the mail and then mail them back a thank you note. Like that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had a baby shower. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm doing it because like there are people who like gave us gifts that we haven't like I haven't gotten to acknowledge it yet or thank them. But I also, on a deep level, think that a text message should suffice. Like,
It does.
why does it, like, I could write the same thing in a text message. Why does it have to be written on stationery and like mailed to you?
I get a bill to pay by mail, and I've been putting that off.
You have to pay a bill by mail?
Yeah, I have to write a check.
Oh,
I have
is
to
this
put in an
the
envelope.
the stormwater bill?
No,
Oh.
that's what we don't have to get into the specifics of what bill I have to pay.
I don't think there's any other bill that makes you do it by mail.
No, I had to.
We have talked about this
Oh, okay.
multiple times.
I had to pay 2 tolls in Florida by mail. Like
See, that's monstrous.
I went to a wedding in Florida, and between the fucking airport and the hotel, we drove through 2 toll booths, and we didn't have change. We didn't have any cash or currency, and they didn't take cards. So I forget if they gave us a bill at that time or mailed it to us or whatever happened, but I just remember having to write 2 separate checks for 2 separate toll booths to the state of Florida for like $1.89 each.
But like, why is there not just a pay online option?
I know. Florida's in another universe.
But I do support the USPS in its existence, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, good government jobs.
I just think it's the stupidest way to get something to someone.
I had this isn't like a full dream. It's just an interesting dream phenomenon the other night. That's like specifically related to the podcast. So I don't remember what the dream was, but I remember in the dream throughout it, I had a girlfriend that wasn't Shelby. It was like I remember it was like a blonde girl that I don't know in real life. And in the dream, I actually remembered the Alligator Show episode of our podcast. Like I had a moment in the dream where I was like, that's not Shelby, but that's my girlfriend somehow. And then I remembered the Alligator Show episode where Olivia had a girlfriend in the dream that was obviously not a person she's really dating. And then I in the dream, I was thinking about how that had significance that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow that didn't clue me into the fact that I was dreaming. Like I never actually became lucid. I was just like, oh, this means something. So that.
Yeah, there's lots of like, I've been having lots of dreams that are clearly influenced by the podcast. And it's usually been like, I will immediately start telling the dream to someone else.
Yeah.
In the dream. Or like sometimes I will like notice a symbol and think of it as a symbol in the dream. And still, I don't usually realize that I'm dreaming when that happens.
Yeah, that's a weird phenomenon to be able to like apply what we've talked about here without actually waking up first. I need to retain more of what we say because even now I don't remember what it does mean to have a girlfriend in a dream that isn't your real life girlfriend. Like I forgot that part of the episode.
Yeah, look it up.
I think it's like to do with support.
To dream of a girlfriend represents personality traits or qualities we feel as consistently supportive of your success or well-being. Something you think that supports you emotionally or regularly helps you cope with life situations. It may also reflect something in your life that makes you feel safe or lucky, a consistently helpful situation behavior or coping mechanism.
So yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to apply that to the dream in real, but that's an interesting concept to be able to do dream interpretation live on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Reporting to you live from the dream.
From within the dream that I don't know I'm having.
Right.
Well, you could just try and dream interpret your waking life, right? And it's like, okay, I have a wife. Wife in the dream Bible means such and such and such. I have 2 dogs. Okay. In the dream Bible, a white dog symbolizes. Yeah. And just live your life that way. As if your waking life is a dream trying to tell you something. Maybe it is. I don't know.
No way to live. That is a surefire way to go crazy.
There's a lot of good ways to go crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the better ones.
Yeah, it seems to be. That feels like maybe useful if you like are invested in the idea that this is a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those people are a little bit crazy.
I don't know what that changes though. Like, what is it being a simulation actually?
Nothing.
That's why I don't think about it.
How does it change? Yeah.
It's a waste of time.
I started to have panic attacks about it during the the height of the pandemic, because it happened like right after I moved to Seattle, and I started seeing a lot of the same people over and over again. Because I moved to Seattle kind of on a whim. Like I got the job that I used to work with Olivia at. I spent 15 years in Denver, and then I got that job, and 4 days later I was in Seattle, and then boom, the pandemic happened like a couple months later, and I was seeing like the bartender from the tavern next to our apartment. I saw him in traffic on the other side of town, and I felt like I kept seeing the same few people, and I was like, I think I broke the simulation, because it wasn't planning for me to move that quickly, and it had to render Seattle.
Just throw a pandemic out there really quick, just to keep them busy.
Exactly. It shut down the whole program and sheltered everyone in place so that it could, like, at least that's what my panic attacks were about.
Yeah. No, like you're like the main character in like a Truman Show like situation, and like you've escaped containment by deciding to suddenly move to Seattle, and so they have to create a whole new set and a whole new cast of characters around you.
Yeah, it's pretty solipsistic, but I mean,
But what? Yeah.
but what?
Well, like, what is that phenomenon though when you like see someone like over and over again? Because that's like, I'm just thinking there's this guy that I saw like probably 5 or 6 times a year for like 5 years straight, and I'd see him in the weirdest places. Like I'd see him in different parts of the state. I'd see him at like different venues, and then like I saw him at the grocery store in my house that was like, or by my house that was like way far away from Seattle where I usually saw him. And then like a couple years ago, I saw him like on TikTok, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Was he really distinct looking?
Yes, he has like long blonde hair. I just call him Legolas. I don't know his name. But like I would see him everywhere and I'd be like, Legolas, hey. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is that he's just really distinct looking.
Yeah, you might
like,
be seeing a lot of people over and over again.
Yeah.
But when I first moved to Seattle, it was like 4 or 5 people that I kept seeing over and over again. That made it feel like a simulation with only so many NPCs preloaded. But what
was I one of them? Seeing you every day.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't be an NPC at that point. You're like a character in the game.
I'm a side character in your life.
Yeah.
Giving quests and stuff.
Yeah, and then, that starts to feel like gang stalking or whatever. That's another route you could go with the paranoia when you see the same 4 people all the time.
That's right. Isn't that like a common delusion of people with schizophrenia?
Mm-hmm.
It's that like a group of people are all like trying to catch you or stalk you at the same time.
Yeah, so I was getting like, those are the thoughts that would compound that led to panic attacks. I would start freaking out about the pandemic, which led to freaking out about the simulation, which led to freaking out about gang stalking, which led to like, I'm going crazy. Like, there's no way any of this is real. I'm just suffering a catastrophic break. And it was all just anxiety. But
well, no, that last one seems pretty accurate.
Okay, so I had this dream 1 week ago, and in it I'm on a ferry boat alone, I think, and I'm coming into a dock, and it's a really nice day, and the water is really smooth, and it's sunny, and I'm kind of on the like outside part of the deck, in the undercover outdoor area, I guess, and I was spray painting grass, like blades of grass onto a mural, and on the mural there's mushrooms, and then at one point I see an image of a little boy in the mural, and I in the dream I Control Z like deleted the boy. It felt like a Control Z. There wasn't actually a keyboard, but I like remember like it was like I was digitally drawing and I Control Z'd the boy.
Apple's working on that technology.
And then my brother called me, and he said that there was like an unfortunate accident and he was playing with our little cousin, which we don't have a little cousin. I don't know who this was. And I was like, did something happen to the gerbil? And he was like, yeah, our little cousin stepped on the gerbil. And I started like lecturing my brother because I had like given him the gerbil, and it was like, okay, so clearly you were like running around with the gerbil on the floor and it got stepped on. And I remember at this point I was like, I had been contemplating this whole time if I wanted to stay on the ferry boat, and it was gonna, like, it had come into the dock, and I'm assuming there were other people that were getting off the boat, and it was gonna leave the dock again, and I was trying to decide if I was gonna stay on and go back to wherever it came from or hop off, and I think I decided to get off at this point. And that was a dream.
Can you run me through this stuff with your brother again? It was just like, he was saying that there was a problem with a little cousin.
Yeah, he said there was like an unfortunate accident, and I like knew, it had to do with our little cousin, and I kind of knew immediately that like something had happened to the gerbil that I had given my brother. And there was a point like in real life where we had 2 gerbils. I had 2 gerbils.
Did you step on them?
No. And there was never an unfortunate accident, but yeah, I don't know. It felt like one of those dreams where I'm like protecting pets, or like I have protective instincts over like the animals.
It felt like a very Olivia dream.
Yeah.
From the animals to something about the painting and the mushrooms.
Yeah.
Felt very you for whatever reason.
It was really like peaceful up to that point.
And what were you feeling about your cousin and your gerbil?
I felt like my brother was responsible, and like he should have known better than to like have, like, I just assumed he let the gerbil run around on the floor, like they had the gerbil out and they were walking around, like, and that's not
was it
a great idea.
Was it the little cousin that stepped on it?
Yeah, but like I felt like my brother was responsible because it seemed like the little cousin, I think, was like a little kid, you know,
who's now traumatized.
So the cousin was fine.
Yeah, the cousin was fine. The gerbil was dead.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought the cousin was like dead, and then you were worried about a gerbil for some reason.
No. The cousin stepped on the gerbil and killed the gerbil.
Gotcha.
So he's not dead, but he's traumatized from having accidentally murdered a cute.
Maybe I think that's irrelevant. I don't think that I was concerned about the cousin at all.
He may as well be dead. You know, after all he's seen. He'll never be normal, that kid.
He's got a taste for blood.
Okay, so I got some entries pulled up. We can look at any of those, or do you have some initial thoughts about the dream or feelings?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. It felt like I have a tendency to like make other people's problems my responsibility. Like in this situation, I felt like I was having a nice time doing my thing on the ferry boat, and then my brother had a problem that really there was nothing to be done about. Like the gerbil was dead.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing to be done about it, and because of that I decided that I needed to get off the boat. And I think like going back, staying on the boat and going back to wherever it was coming from, or I was maybe just gonna ride it like back and forth and never get off. But I felt like I had to go do something.
Yeah. And you also had to let him know that like he made a mistake by letting the gerbil run around, because even though it's dead and there's no like action items left, there's still like you telling him that he did something wrong, maybe so he doesn't do it again.
Yeah, sure. And I think like in real life, that's how I would operate. Like, I would probably be like upset about that and be like, why did you do that? That was really irresponsible. And, you know, the animal suffered unnecessarily.
Speaking of which, you guys made a face like your dog farted again.
Yeah, she absolutely did.
She did. Whole room filled with pumpkin farts. Maybe I'll take him inside.
Yeah.
We'll just take a second. Take him inside.
It's so funny that you could tell that that's what happened.
You were like mid-sentence and you went...
Yeah, it was really bad. This is a small room.
Let's kick this window open while we're at it.
Oh my god. What do you think? Can we crack this dream before he gets back?
just get it done.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like you're right that I mean me having to tell him that's definitely like a normal reaction that I would have in that situation. But yeah, it felt like I was making it my responsibility.
Yeah, which feels like, I don't know, like when somebody's come at it that way, when I've done something wrong, I don't, not that this was a real scenario, I know this was a dream, but it's like my reaction is always like, I know, you don't have to tell me, like I've already learned from my mistake. But being on the other side of it, it does, you know, when something goes wrong and there's nothing you can do to fix it, there is like you have to put your energy somewhere, and pointing out behavior that could maybe like prevent it from happening again seems like the most rational place to put it.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think that's a natural response.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also somebody who like I don't cry over spilled milk. Like if something gets fucked up and it's like you got to start all over or whatever, like I'm really quick to be like, okay, well, there's nothing to be done about that. I'm not going to be upset about it, and like I can move on from that kind of thing really quickly.
What about spilled gopher guts?
That's the thing is like that felt like something that feels like a situation where something helpless suffered for no reason. And maybe in the stream, I felt like it was my fault because I gave the gerbil to my brother, who then made a poor decision about what to do with it.
Yeah, so that transference of your response to, like, it almost feels like you want to make sure that the people responsible understand the gravity of having hurt something.
Yeah, I think that
feels like a I don't know if theme is the right word. It feels like a component of your saving animals dreams that you have all the time. Like you're the only one that seems to understand the significance of another helpless life that's at stake.
Yeah, and I think that is like that plays into like stuff about kids in my dreams and like how I think I felt as a kid in real life.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. That like mentality of feeling like you have to step it up and you have to look out for these animals that are stand-ins for, you know, something precious, a living, breathing thing that can feel pain, and you're the one that has to like rise to the occasion because all the other people around you are incompetent, right? Haven't we talked about that being like a common dynamic in your animal dreams that maybe comes from the way you grew up?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I think like that reaction in me is like outsized. Like I have an outsized idea of how sorry, Victor's turning some lights on and off. I'm gonna wait for him to come back.
This one's gonna be fun to edit. We talked for so long up top.
Did y'all crack it?
I mean, kind of.
Cool. Okay. Go for it. Explain it to me.
So we're talking about like that like this dream felt like I was off enjoying my day. We can get into more probably what the first few symbols mean, but like it was interrupted by my brother calling me about this thing that happened that there was nothing to be done about. But it triggered something for me because there was like an innocent life that suffered, and I felt like I had to do something about it. That's why I decided to get off the boat and end this like blissful day that I was having for a thing that was outside of my control, like, and there was nothing to fix about it. And at the same time, I think like I probably felt like it was my fault because I gave the gerbil to my brother. And yeah, this is a theme in my dreams.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, as you were coming back in here, that like my perception of like there needing to be like action taken, or like the suffering that is being caused is like probably outsized. And that like what I was going to say is that I am currently working on trying to like let go of that when it doesn't matter, because like I just have such a tendency to like want to jump in, and like if somebody's not doing something right the way that I see as right, like I feel like I have to like tell them the right way to do it, or like try and intervene, and that like the consequences of that are outsized in my mind, and that I can actually kind of just like let people do their thing. But it's especially hard for me when there's like something innocent that is like directly affected by someone else's behavior.
You know, I was pointing out if this were a real scenario that happened IRL, it's safe to say that your brother would learn from that. Like that he would be affected by a gerbil getting stepped on, and he would, you're making a face, I guess I don't know your brother, but it's safe to say a person would learn from that and not want to let that happen again. But it's a natural instinct to like, if there's nothing else you can do to remedy the situation, it's a natural instinct to want to make sure that the person culpable learns, even though they probably have, and you're just piling on. It's a rational response, like, or a rational place to put that like frustration energy into.
I'm just thinking that this reminds me of the time where, so one time my brother called me and he wanted to let me know that this was like really hard for him, but that he was going to rehome his cat. And I had like really strong feelings about that, and that I felt like the situation could be remedied, and that there were things that he should try first, to try and like sort out the problems he was having. And like what I realize now is that he was not open to that. Like he had already decided he was going to rehome the cat, and like me being anxious about it and like trying to solve the problem was just like wasted energy. And what he was calling me to say, what he was really saying was, don't try and convince me not to rehome my cat, because I'm going to do it. I just wanted to let you know. And like, that's what the gerbil thing felt like. It felt like just wanted to let you know that next time you come over, when you don't see a gerbil, it's because this thing happened. And I already understand like what the situation is, and like, there's nothing to be done about it. But
did it feel like that in the dream?
Okay. Yeah. It felt like he just had to tell me about it.
Yeah.
He wasn't asking for anything.
Do you feel like when you got off the ferry, like you were heading in his direction?
Possibly. Yeah. I felt like I was getting off that, like that, swayed my decision. Like I remember I was thinking about, wow, I could just stay on this ferry forever and just go back and forth on this ferry route forever doing what I'm doing. And like, it was coming into the dock, and I was like, should I get off or should I just stay? And then he called me, and I was like, well, now I need to get off.
But like, do you, like, I don't know, you said possibly, but like, I'm curious if it feels like you were going to your brother when you decided to stay.
I think this dream, I can't remember, but I have an inclination that this turned into another dream.
Where your brother was there with the dead gerbil.
No, it was like in our backyard, and there was like, I think I was flying away from a snake at one point.
That snake was a common theme of your dreams recently.
Yeah.
The ferry boat entry is interesting and seems to like really connect to the feelings you had at the beginning of the dream when you were just, riding it back and forth.
Why don't you read it?
To dream of a ferry boat represents feelings about safely being helped navigate through uncertainty with a sense of easy transition towards a different phase of your life. Feelings about being helped through an uncertain situation while safely or comfortably taking your time, thinking it's nice or wonderful that someone did it all for you. Feeling that it's someone else's job to help you safely get past a difficult or uncertain situation. It's kind of a long entry, but it's a lot of that. Like confidence, trust,
Wait, I read the whole thing.
Okay. Feeling confidence or trust that you will be helped to make an uncertain transition with ease. Feeling optimistic about being safely carried through a problem situation that shouldn't be a problem with ease. Feelings about simply needing to pay someone to safely or professionally transition through an uncertain phase. A ferry boat might also represent a sense of direction, progress, and smooth navigation through uncertainties of life. A conscious adaptation to change and the optimistic anticipation of a new beginning or arrival at a different, potentially better state of being. The dream might indicate trust in the process and the belief that the transitional journey you are on is necessary and beneficial.
That all really feels like baby stuff
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I feel really like, I mean, obviously this is a very uncertain time, and we've talked about it on the podcast, but like I feel really supported by you, Victor, and like that that it's like it's uncertain, but it doesn't feel unsafe. It feels like, you know, very supported, and like it's gonna be like a transition, but that like I feel very well supported in it.
I'm your ferry boat captain.
You're my ferry boat captain.
This is an aside, but like we have ferries here in Washington.
Oh, yeah.
And Olivia and I would use them semi-regularly. And before, like a couple of years ago, we'd be like, oh man, that's got to be like a cushy gig. Like you'd probably be hammered and have no problem being a ferry boat captain. Like it's probably got to be the easiest thing. And then within the last year, they had like a big like staffing shortage, or like they got rid of a bunch of people. They got rid of everybody that knew how to operate the ferry system in Washington.
Really?
Yeah.
And so then over the last year or so, there's been weird shit where it's like we're waiting, they're like behind by like an hour, and we're watching this ferry boat just like try and fail to park like 10 times. And when they finally got it, everybody cheered.
Yeah.
Like there was a line of people watching this new ferry boat captain
It took
just
like 40
absolutely
minutes.
Why did they?
Yeah.
failing over and over again.
Why did they fire all the guys that knew how to do it?
I don't know. Probably like some anti-union shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they got rid of all of their institutional knowledge. Everybody that knew how the ferry system worked is gone. And it's just a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing, trying to like rebuild a ferry system.
They probably were
And it's
hammered.
like, yeah. But they knew what they were doing. And now
They could only do it hammered.
now they're hammered and they don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
That's actually what happened, is they really started cracking down on drinking on the job, and the ferry boat captain was like, I don't know how to do this sober.
It's just like when I was a pilot.
The motion
It's great.
The
at
motion of the waves feels really weird when I'm not adjusted for it in my cerebellum. But yeah, if all
Yeah,
that ferry stuff makes sense, what does it mean to feel like you have to get off it because of a crisis?
Well, I do want to look at the other symbols there, because like that's just part of it. I don't think that that's what I was getting off of. I think that was part of what I was enjoying. And then I was painting grass,
And mushrooms.
and there were mushrooms, and there was a little boy who I control Z'd.
Well, okay, so you said you were docked, right? And the dock entry at first glance seems kind of interesting because there's different symbolism for if it's facing the water versus facing land.
Oh,
And so from the dock, you were facing land, correct?
yes.
Okay, let me read through these. So to dream of a dock facing water symbolizes a tough time or difficulty you're expecting to confront, anxiety about uncertainty or a negative situation that's close at hand. You may feel unprepared or worried about failure. But to dream of a dock facing land symbolizes a tough time that is past as you move towards a more comfortable or stable time in your life.
I could probably make that fit,
Sure.
but I never saw the dock. I was on the ferry, and I was at the back of the ferry. So like if the ferry comes into the dock, like I was at the back, so that if I were to look behind me, I would see like the ocean, right? So I don't recall seeing a dock.
Did you get off the boat or just decide to get off the boat?
I think I maybe did get off the boat. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I did see a dock like to the side, the way like you would dock a regular small boat and then hop off the side of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I did see a dock there.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't know. It was like,
Not
that
real
was
relevant.
I don't think it was about the dock. I think the dock was just like a feature of getting off the boat.
Okay. Well, I still thought it was interesting.
That is a super interesting entry.
Yeah, it's weird that the orientation would crop up in people's dreams enough to matter.
That makes sense to me though, like, because we talk about ocean and land and beaches, and it's like the ocean is like tumultuous, like uncertainty and difficulties, and land is like stability, and being on the beach, like looking at the ocean, is like facing a whole lot of subconscious uncertainties, and that makes sense to me. That depends on which way you're coming from, right?
Totally. Yeah. Okay, so the other entries that I've pulled up are paint, mushrooms, boy, pets, and guinea pigs, because I could not find gerbil. So.
Okay, but I feel like guinea pig doesn't. I've had dreams about guinea pigs before.
It's funny that they're so separate in your mind.
Yeah, if you want to find a dream entry about hamsters or whatever. I tried rodents. Rodents redirects to rats or mice.
That feels different.
I think pet.
I had a hamster I once fed to death when I was a kid.
Are you sure it died and didn't hibernate?
Oh, no,
have you seen this?
I don't know.
Oh man, don't do this.
Sorry.
Don't tell him.
I was a little kid. I didn't know.
Yeah, a lot of people buried their alive hamsters because they hibernate and look dead and feel cold to the touch and they're stiff.
Oh,
God damn it.
But if I had a dream about that, I'd be like, yeah, sure, hamster, guinea pig, gremlin, whatever, like gerbil, whatever.
I feel like
they're all the same. Like, I don't know if I could pick them out of a lineup between each other. They're all like little.
I definitely couldn't.
They're definitely separate from rats, but they're like other rodent pets.
That's not how I operate. A gerbil is possibly the most specific, like, small animal pet I could possibly think of.
I don't think I can picture a gerbil. A guinea pig is like a big ass hamster, right?
Yeah, a gerbil is a lot like a mouse, but they're really cute. But yeah, I'm curious what it means, like, that I like deleted the boy from my mural.
Yeah, I didn't find anything for like deleted. I don't know.
Undo.
I think just like if we looked at little boy, I think it.
Okay, yeah.
We can kind of figure out what deleting the boy means. Like it.
You want to start with boy?
What it felt like is that I didn't want that in the picture.
Okay, so you want to start with boy?
Sure.
Okay. All right. To dream of a boy represents a masculine aspect of yourself that is developing or inexperienced. Assertiveness, anger, dominance, or insensitivity. A part of your personality or a situation that hasn't reached its full potential yet. For a young girl to dream of a boy that she's attracted to may represent a desire for something to happen in your life, a goal or experience you want to happen.
Something does resonate there with like what I was talking about, not wanting to, like the part of me that wants to jump in and try and like control what people are doing to try and minimize suffering does feel like an assertive, dominant, and sometimes like angry and frustrated part of me. And I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to like really like work on letting go when it doesn't matter and like pick when I think it is important that I do that and when it's better for me to like let things unfold.
So do you think the boy might be emblematic of that and that's why you were trying to undo it?
I didn't want it in the picture. Yeah. I felt like that was not it didn't seem like it was like ugly or anything. It just like I didn't want that in the picture.
I think it's really interesting you say that because and I don't disagree with you, but like when I read that, my mind went in the exact opposite direction. That this describes assertiveness, anger, dominance, or insensitivity. And when you've run into situations where you're feeling like activated or like, you know, triggered by like a social thing, a lot of the time it's a place of like not being comfortable standing up for yourself or being firm or pushing back on somebody or asserting your needs over someone else's needs or whatever. It's a lot of like trying to tend to other people and keep other people happy is
right.
another way that shows up. And
Those
so-
things are related though. Like it when it's about me, I have a hard time being assertive and dominant.
when
It's about
else,
someone else who I perceive as like innocent and needing help, then I'm
You're
very
pushy.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The anxiety override.
What does that mean?
Like people with anxiety, like if it has to do with you or you're standing up for yourself, it's difficult to do. But if it's about someone else, you can, or something else, you can. There's a thing. I think it's very colloquial. I don't think it's like a medical term, but I've heard it referred to as the anxiety override.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
It feels like a people pleasing thing. It feels like a putting other people's needs before your own
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
to me.
But that reminds me of like something I've talked about on here before, where it's like sometimes it'll come up in relationships too, where it's like look at your situation as if you're looking at like two strangers and evaluate it from that perspective and say like, well, what advice would I give a stranger if they were bringing the problem I'm having to me, right? And like that offers some clarity, at least for the kinds of people like me who tend to like put yourself in like a position of like, well, if there's any kind of conflict, I'm at fault. If there's any kind of issue, like I'm the problem. I'm like constantly like putting yourself like in like a lower position than other people in your own head, you know. It like helps even you back out into properly perceiving yourself as like a person among people.
We talked about this in our episode titled "I Wouldn't Do This to My Friends," where I talked about a breakthrough that I had where I realized that I would never treat myself the way, or I would never treat my friends the way I treat myself, and that led to me treating myself better, because I had a moment where I saw myself as like a third person and realized I would never be that mean to anyone else. And that was very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it connects to like a kind of anxiety. I don't know if everyone has like social anxiety feels this way, but like for me, I tend to enter any kind of social interaction assuming that if it doesn't go well, or that person doesn't like me, or we don't hit it off, like that I am at fault, that it's my job to make sure that person is happy and likes me. And if I failed in that, that's a failure on my part. And I've gotten better about that over time, but like that's still like kind of burned into me. It's like every new person, it's my responsibility to make this person happy with me or whatever. It's not healthy. I think this caught my eye, and so I thought maybe I'd read it on the pod. A new mother was having nightmares of guinea pigs being sacrificed by a satanic woman.
Huh.
In waking life, she feared being a bad mother if she left her newborn child with anyone else at all. The guinea pigs reflected her need to do everything for her newborn son at all times.
Yeah, I absolutely have that fear, but that's not what this dream was about.
You don't think so?
Okay,
I mean,
read me the guinea pig entry. Maybe we can, yeah, sure.
To dream of a guinea pig represents an aspect of yourself that does everything for someone else. It may also reflect your need to be completely responsible and attentive to someone else's needs.
What?
Looking after someone that is not intelligent enough to look after themselves.
Ah, shit. This is the most Olivia entry.
Yeah, it's so spot
this
on.
is you're a guinea pig.
Especially the not intelligent enough to look after themselves. That's like my fear. That's like the deep core
that's
of
your
my
deepest fear.
Is like that people are idiots.
We were talking about that when you were wrangling the pumpkin farters into the house. We were about how all her animal dreams have this common theme of like a fear of incompetent leadership.
Yeah.
Guinea pig dreams are common to newborn mothers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say mothers of newborns.
Who fear leaving their child alone or with someone else, which you have.
Yeah.
Negatively, a guinea pig may reflect behavior that is smothering, pampering, or enabling laziness. It may also reflect a fear of not being attentive enough.
Yeah, I did leave the gerbil with my brother. Like,
yeah,
I gave it to him and trusted him to take care of it.
I bet
but
if there was a gerbil entry, it would be pretty close to
similar. Yeah.
To guinea pig. Because a lot of stuff on Dream Bible is like we talked about earlier, the girlfriend entry was pretty much exactly the same as the boyfriend entry.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in my mind, things are very distinct, but you're right. That is probably relevant.
It does seem like we've talked about how like the fairy represents you feeling trust or being cared for or whatever on this journey, right? Or this transition that you're on. And I know that you have trust in me as a partner and as a parent, right? Like you have faith in me to be a competent partner in the stuff that we do together.
Yeah.
Right. But you do have like a lot of mistrust in other people and like the feeling that you need to like do everything for other people because they can't be trusted to do it themselves. And that does play into your perception of how stuff is going to be in parenthood.
Yeah. I mean, they want to put whiskey in the baby bottle.
Who?
Yeah.
Who wants to do that?
Boomers.
Puts them right to sleep.
Yeah.
In the baby bottle? I thought you just rub it on their gums.
You know, that's for pussies.
You want to raise one of those.
Day I was born, my dad handed me a bottle of Jack.
You just put the nipple on the liquor bottle, actually.
I once went to a baby shower where the theme was Prager Kegger.
That's fun.
And we showed up. They handed us pina coladas in baby bottles at the door.
I love that.
That's
It
great.
was also the only person that wasn't wasted there was the expecting mom, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks about
She couldn't drink
baby showers.
Yeah, it was for her, and she was the only one that couldn't like participate.
I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a blast.
I'd like to hear the grass entry, please.
Okay. We didn't just crack your world open with guinea pigs.
I think we're pretty close
No,
to
it's
tying
like
the whole
for sure. But
thing
I want to
together,
know
though.
what the first part before the gerbils were even there
Okay.
is all about.
You want grass and then mushrooms and then painting?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm
What
just
a weird no.
I'm literally just out of breath. That's all. I literally can't breathe. I'm so huge right now.
Well, I'm
My
offended.
lungs are being crushed. I was not saying, no,
All
fine.
right.
I was saying,
Well,
fine.
I'm still upset about it. But. All right. Grass. To dream of grass represents your feelings about how good or how bad a situation is. Noticing or being aware of how positive or negative some area of your life is. The length or condition of the grass reflects the degree of positivity or negativity that you feel about the situation.
What?
Short or trimmed grass reflects feelings about how good something you are noticing is. Feeling that a situation is pleasant, beautiful, or being given a lot of attention. I feel like this is boomer logic.
Yeah. No, this is like mow the lawn logic.
This is mow the lawn
this
logic.
isn't,
It's like
natural grass.
something about people that came up in the 60s. Like, I hate when grass is allowed to grow.
I have much more positive feelings about long,
all about-
neglected grass.
It's all about
too.
xeriscaping now.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to do anything.
Yeah.
That's why I've let moss take over.
Yeah, that's why.
I've let our yard become mostly weeds because I care.
It's an aesthetic choice.
Long or neglected grass reflects feelings about how bad or negative something you are noticing is. Feeling that a situation is unpleasant, neglected, or getting out of control. You may feel that taking action in some way is important or sorely needed. Olivia, what was the condition of your grass?
They were beautiful long blades of grass that I was painting.
Beautiful, that you were very happy about and you had good positive feelings
Yeah.
about.
Long grass may represent these goddamn hippies
Yeah.
that don't know what a fucking
millennials.
haircut is.
Mushrooms. To dream of a wild mushroom represents feelings about choice or option that you prefer to think about as safe because it's careless to not consider at once.
What?
I don't know. Sometimes I kind of black out when I'm reading these.
Yeah.
I don't hear myself as I'm talking. I'm just reading one word at a time.
That's the only way
Hoping
to
to
get
see
through the jagged grammar is to just focus on your enunciation.
I have to say it, and I have to look at you guys to hear back from me what it meant. Hoping to see why a choice is perfectly safe when it doesn't say whether or not it's perfectly safe. Concerned that you were making a bad choice. Okay, I got that one. Preoccupation with how dangerous something you want to do might be. A lack of confidence with something you feel you are risking. Asking yourself, is this good for me or not? Struggling with values, morality, or the prospect of making a dangerous choice you don't feel good risking.
I'm also remembering that there was a dream we did early on in the podcast, like single digits early on, where I had like moon mushrooms, and that was about like whether or not to have kids. That dream ended up being about
That's right.
kids.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an arc developing to this dream where it starts with you in this safe place, but like thinking about something heavy and therapeutic, like you're deleting the boy from the picture, like you're thinking about how you want to be and how you want to approach stuff in the context of this like safe, supported environment. And then there's a thing that happens and you have to apply the thing you're thinking about.
Right. And I don't do it well. This is a dream about Olivia getting triggered.
Yeah. So like the painting is therapy. The painting is like you going through the motions of the theoretical of how you should act in weird situations. And then your brother calling you about a dead gerbil is like the
weird
ugly
situation.
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so on that note, maybe let's read the painting entry and see how that ties it, if it ties it together.
To dream of painting a house or a room, I don't think that's right. To dream of painting a picture represents an accomplishment you want to be noticed for. You want to be recognized for something you are doing.
I can kind of see how that, I mean, recognized maybe, but like, yeah, like I think that, hang on, let me think about that for a second.
These are also like, I don't know, like generalized, you know, the Dream Bible is compiled through surveys and stuff, but I feel like certain things mean, painting seems like an example that where it can mean something different to you, especially if you are, like Olivia, you are a graphic artist, like you are very talented in this way, and you might have a different relationship than the average person.
True. But I think that does actually resonate. I think that, like I've been saying, like this is something I'm trying to work on for the purpose of like being able to apply it in real life and for it to be noticed by the people that it affects. Right. Yeah. Like I don't want to be like micromanaging situations around our child. I don't want to be like unnecessarily trying to like insert myself when things are fine. And like I want to be able to do that. So that like it's not so much about like the recognition, but like that's part of it. Part of it is like it's like the person I want to be as a parent, you know? Like, and that people are going to see that and people are going to be affected by that. So like that does kind of make sense to me.
And that's also a thing you're creating. That's a thing you're working on. you're developing like a painting.
I looked up artwork and graffiti.
Oh, okay, cool. It was definitely graffiti. I was using spray paint.
Oh.
So artwork, to dream of artwork represents things about ourselves we like to notice. This could be accomplishments, material possessions, or capabilities you feel good about or want others to be aware of. So kind of similar to the last entry. And then I glanced at graffiti and it looked like some real boomer shit again. To dream of graffiti may represent feelings about other people's arrogant choices embarrassing you or disrespecting you. Feeling that someone else is being purposely obnoxious and not letting you enjoy yourself. It may also reflect a sense of powerlessness to stop someone from souring your social atmosphere.
Okay, no.
Well, I think
alternatively,
that's different than like painting a mural. There's a difference between painting like a commissioned mural and having like the front door of your house tagged.
I don't know that it was commissioned, but
hold on. Alternatively, graffiti may reflect your longing for peace and clarity.
What?
What a weird pivot.
Well, it's based on surveys, so it could just be like, well, these people all really wanted peace and clarity. I guess it could mean that too. And they get a lot of boomer dreams submitted.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. And then if you were the one creating graffiti, it may be a sign that you really want to get under someone's skin, embarrassing other people that you never have to care about or other people's feelings ever.
Again, I think graffiti like includes both. Like what you're describing is like grass and mushrooms and like a pretty scene. And then there's also, I think, graffiti just denotatively to a lot of people can mean just spray paint, just random tags that are.
I looked for mural and I couldn't find mural. So I'm forced to find other stuff.
Yeah, but I do think that I think that Zach, you kind of summed it up nicely a few minutes ago where it's like, I was like peacefully, like, okay. I do have a tendency to be able to like really intellectualize my own shit and like talk about it really clearly and like understand exactly why I operate the way I do. And then like it's a totally different thing to like actually put it into practice, you know, when you're triggered by something or when something like brings this stuff up for you. It's like a completely different part of your brain. And I think this is a dream about that because Victor and I have been talking about that phenomenon recently.
Yeah.
So like I think this was a dream about me like peacefully exploring like my own psyche and like my intentions for how I want to be. And then like a thing coming up that is the quintessential like thing that triggers Olivia that we all know. We all know about this. It comes up in the dream and I start scrambling and like forget the thing I was just working on and like abandon it. I think that's totally what this dream is about.
Yeah,
that feels
something you've
correct.
talked about on the pod as of late is the idea that like if you have triggers, there's nothing that's going to be more triggering than having a kid. Like
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds like your brain is getting you ready to like, you know, apply things that you've been thinking about when they come up.
And it sounds like the feeling is that like you're in a nurturing you're in a safe space.
Yeah.
And from your safe space, you are working on like intellectually like being the version of yourself that you want to be. But some external bullshit comes through and derails all of that. And I think that ties into some anxiety you have about like, you know, external stuff affecting, like we obviously as first-time parents, we have this like very particular idea of like we want to do things perfect, we want to nail it, we want to get everything right, we want to do everything in a specific way, and like it feels like the world outside of us is just going to get in the way of that. You know, it doesn't feel like it might be supportive in some ways, but it feels also like more of an obstacle between us and accomplishing our parenting goals. And so I think maybe this taps into that idea that like the outside world is an obstacle between us and like what we want to do as parents.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Which I don't think is healthy, by the way, because we're in the world and we're going to have a kid that's going to need to live in the world. Right. But it's like, a thing we're struggling with is that feeling.
For sure. It's like, that's part of it though. Like, we have these intentions about how we want to do things. And like part of that is how do you apply those intentions in and among the obstacles of the world we live in? That's right. Like, that is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's like the goal is the intention. And then the world we live in is like the things you have to navigate to get to the goal. Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It causes a common paradigm that you see in families with multiple kids, because there's a stereotype of what the oldest kid is like, the middle kid, the youngest kid, etc. And it feels like it has to do with, you know, on the first kid, the parents are like, we got to protect him, we got to do everything right, we got to read all the books. And by the fourth kid or whatever, they're like, yeah, just make sure they don't get stolen or whatever. Like, and you can see that impact later in life, because there is a stereotype of what you can see with my sister and I, like what the babying of me looks like later in life versus, you know, the more lax style that my sister grew up with.
And I think it's worth acknowledging that like it's not like the stereotype is, yeah, the first one is super well put together and really has their shit together because they got so like doted over obsessively.
It's like the first one feels responsible for everyone else. That's what I hear a lot.
Yeah, the first one's more neurotic, anxious, has like control issues, and the last one's like the free spirit that rolls with the wind or whatever. Those are the stereotypes I've heard anyway.
And you have, Olivia, some responsible for everyone else.
I have some first child tendencies for a middle child in a unique situation, I guess, with my family dynamic.
You're the middle child?
I'm the middle child, but my older sister has like intellectual disability. So like a lot of levels. I thought
she was younger than you.
No, yeah, she's my older sister. But yeah, I I think I have a lot of older sibling tendencies just because of that dynamic.
Right. So as we go into like parenting, it is worth remembering like doing stuff that way doesn't necessarily like end up with like the most functional.
For sure, which is literally what this dream is about. That is what this whole thing is about, is me working on letting go of that tendency in me to try and control situations. Like this came up the other day. Like I was just telling Victor about this, but like my mom and my sister lives with my mom. They just got a kitten, and like we came over to meet the kitten, and it's like a really tiny 6-week-old, like almost too young to be away from its mama kind of kitten, like itty bitty kitten. And like I had all these like, I was like, oh, you should probably get a litter box that's like a little smaller so the kitten can get in and out of it easily. And like, you should probably keep the kitten in a contained space for a while so that it can adjust. And like, I like noticed myself like wanting to like control the situation. And I asked if they wanted my advice, and like, I gave them kind of the bare minimum. And then I was like, okay, they're going to take it or leave what they're going to take or leave from that. And like, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to step away from that, and the kitten's going to be fine. They're going to figure it out. And like, I think me a year or two ago would have been like all worked up about, are they doing it right? Are they making sure to feed the cat this many times a day? Like, are they keeping the cat contained? Can the cat get to the litter box? Like, I would have been worried about that, even though it's not my cat. It's not my responsibility. And so like, anyway, all that's to say, like, I am working on it. And maybe that's the part of me that's like, I want some recognition for this, because it's hard for me, like this is actually like really hard for me. And so maybe that's where the like painting entry comes in, is like, I brought that up to you, Victor, the other day. I was like, did you see how I did that? I did a good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that we've cracked this dream pretty well.
Hell yeah.
Good job.
Good job, team.
Thank you. Thanks for recognizing my hard work.
You're killing it.
That's all I want to hear.
Thank you for listening to The Jung and the Restless.
You can follow us on social media at The Jung and the Restless Pod, and submit your dreams for interpretation to thejungandtherestlesspod @gmail.com.
And as we always say, dog farts are the scent of the season.